You felt it, haven't you? That recurring pattern, that loop of frustration or failure that seems to follow you no matter how hard you try to escape. It's not bad luck. It's a fundamental mechanism of reality, often triggered by what you unconsciously observe. The world doesn't just exist out there waiting to be seen. It's actively collapsing into form based on your attention. Everything you focus on, everything you give your emotional weight to, begins to solidify. Even your fears become blueprints. This isn't just about positive thinking. This is about the raw, undeniable mechanics of energy and information. Your consciousness, your very awareness, acts as a quantum lens. What it focuses on amplifies, drawing more of that reality into your immediate experience. You are not merely watching a movie, you are the projector. And the content of your observation trap is what plays out again and again. But how does this passive observation turn into such a rigid pattern? Next, we'll strip back the layers of loop mechanics, how possibility becomes pattern. Think of every moment as a field of infinite possibilities, like uncollapsed waves in a quantum ocean. Your consciousness, your attention, acts as the magnetic force that pulls specific waves into solid form. These aren't just random events, they are patterns. When you repeatedly direct your attention to a specific outcome or even a specific fear, you are essentially reinforcing a neural pathway in the universe itself. This isn't just your brain, it's the universal field responding. Your focus creates a groove. Every time you experience a similar struggle, a familiar disappointment, you're deepening that groove. It's like a record player needle stuck in a worn track. The possibility of escaping is still there, but the momentum of your past observations holds you firmly in place. This loop isn't malicious, it's just efficient. It's simply reflecting the instructions you've consistently given it, often without realizing. It's what makes reality feel so stubbornly fixed, even when you crave change. But what is truly cementing these patterns in place? Next, we'll explore identity inertia, the most dangerous gravity. And before we dive deeper, make sure you subscribe and turn on the notification bell. These revelations aren't random, and if this video found you, it was meant to. Now let's begin. Your deepest sense of self, your identity, is the ultimate stabilizer of your perceived reality. It's not just a personal belief, it's a quantum anchor holding specific timelines in place. This is where the loops gain their stubborn power. If your identity is deeply intertwined with struggle, with being the victim, with constantly overcoming obstacles, then reality will faithfully render scenarios that allow that identity to remain coherent. It's not trying to harm you, it's trying to confirm who you believe you are. This inertia is a powerful force, far stronger than mere desire. You might say you want change, but if your deepest identity remains rooted in the old story, reality will continue to produce echoes of that story. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy at a quantum level. The universe isn't evaluating your worth, it's merely reflecting your deepest operating system. And when that operating system is built on old data, it will recreate old outcomes. But why do we cling so tightly to these familiar, often painful, identities? Next, we uncover the hidden cost of familiarity. Familiarity feels safe, even when it's painful. Your mind, your entire being, craves predictability. It creates a comfort zone, an energetic boundary, where solutions and experiences outside of it feel profoundly threatening, even if they are exactly what you desire. This comfort zone is actually a jail cell, built brick by brick from your past experiences and observations. Every time you recoil from a new opportunity, because it feels too foreign, too uncertain, you reinforce the walls of this energetic prison. Hope becomes a distant echo. The hidden cost is not just missed opportunities, it's the stagnation of your potential. It's the constant replay of the mediocre, the safe, the known. Your system prefers the devil you know to the angel you don't. It's a subconscious sabotage. You might believe you want something different, but your nervous system is hardwired to keep you within the boundaries of what you've already experienced. But this isn't just an emotional or psychological phenomenon. Next, we expose quantum attention, the true mechanism of stuck. Your attention isn't just a mental faculty, it's a quantum beam. It's the highest form of energy currency you possess, and where it goes, reality follows. The reason you feel stuck isn't that options don't exist, it's that your quantum attention is locked. Imagine your attention as a high-powered spotlight. If that spotlight continuously illuminates the same old scenarios, the same limitations, the same lack, then those are the only realities that gain enough energy to manifest into your experience. The rest remain in shadow. You are stuck not because of external resistance, but because your internal projector is fixated on a narrow band of frequencies. It's like having access to an entire library, but only ever reading the same worn-out book. The world responds to your focus. This isn't about effort, it's about direction. The very act of trying to escape a loop while still observing the loop simply feeds it more energy. But how does this focused attention actually shape the landscape of your perceived world? Next, we'll explore perception sculpting, RAS, filters, and the border of real. Your brain isn't passively receiving reality. It's actively filtering and sculpting it in real time. The reticular activating system, or RAS, is like a bouncer at the club of your consciousness, deciding what gets through and what remains outside your notice. If your RAS is tuned to recognize scarcity, struggle, or specific challenges, it will highlight those elements in your environment. Opportunities for abundance or ease will literally become invisible to you, filtered out before they even reach conscious awareness. This isn't fate. These filters are built from your beliefs, your past experiences, and your dominant emotional states. They create a highly personalized border around your reality. What exists for one observer is literally absent for another, even in the same physical space. So when you say, "I never get a break," or "that never happens for me," you're not just complaining. You're describing the exact calibration of your internal perception filters. But how do you begin to dismantle these deeply ingrained filters? Next, we turn to attention withdrawal, the ritual of collapse. To collapse an old reality, you must starve it of your most precious resource, your attention. This isn't about ignoring problems. It's about systematically withdrawing the energetic nourishment that sustains them in your field of perception. It's a deliberate act of energetic amputation. Every time you catch yourself habitually focusing on lack, on the past, on the old story, you have an opportunity to reroute that energetic current. It's not easy. It feels unnatural because your system is trained to seek out familiarity, even negative familiarity. This withdrawal creates a vacuum. It destabilizes the old patterns, making them flicker and lose coherence. Think of it like pulling the plug on a projector. The old images begin to fade, losing their sharp edges, becoming less real. It's the first step in dismantling the loop. This isn't a quick fix. It's a disciplined practice of redirection. It's about consciously choosing where your quantum beam of attention lands. But what happens when these old patterns begin to fray and crack? Next, we examine symbolic anchors, cracks in the simulation. As you withdraw your attention from the old, you'll start to notice glitches, odd synchronicities, or moments of déjà vu. These aren't random. They are symbolic anchors, cracks in the simulated reality you've been maintaining. They are signals that the old program is faltering. Perhaps you see the same number sequence repeatedly or hear a phrase that directly relates to your deepest unspoken desire. These are not coincidences. They are the emerging truth, trying to find a way through the collapsing facade of your old perception. These cracks are invitations. They are moments where the universe is nudging you, showing you that there's more beyond the familiar loop. They feel strange because they don't fit the established narrative of your perceived reality. They challenge your internal logic. Don't dismiss these fleeting moments. They are crucial data points, showing you where the edges of your current simulation are fraying. But even as these cracks appear, why does the old world still feel so stubbornly real? Next, we confront reality lag, why the old timeline still haunts you. You've shifted your attention. You've withdrawn energy from the old loops. Yet often, the old problems persist, the familiar patterns return. This is not failure. This is called reality lag. It is a fundamental property of the energetic universe. Everything has momentum. The reality you've been observing and reinforcing for years, or even decades, has built up significant energetic inertia. Even after you change your internal programs, it takes time for the external environment to catch up. It's like steering a massive ship. You turn the wheel, but the ship continues in its old direction for a while before the new course takes hold. During this lag, the old timeline, the old self, can still exert a powerful pull, creating echoes of the past. This is where many falter. They see the old reality persist and assume they haven't shifted anything. But the lag is proof the collapse has begun. But how do we navigate this frustrating period without falling back into old habits? Next, we tackle the paradox of effort, how trying reinforces the loop. The moment you start trying to change, you often reinforce the very loop you're desperate to escape. Why? Because the act of trying implies a state of lack, a belief that you do not yet possess what you desire. This subtly reactivates the old energetic blueprint. Effort, when driven by desperation or a sense of not enoughness, is just another form of focused attention on the problem. It brings the observer back to the perceived absence, inadvertently instructing reality to maintain that absence. It's a subtle but powerful sabotage. The universe responds to your state of being, not just your frantic actions. If your actions stem from a belief in your current lack, they will only manifest more evidence of that lack. It's a vicious cycle that often masquerades as diligence. True quantum shift isn't about Herculean effort. It's about a fundamental change in your internal observation, your inner state. But how do you make this shift without actively trying? Next, we explore micro-experiments, proving the shift with subtle acts. To escape the paradox of effort, you must begin with micro-experiments. These are tiny, almost imperceptible acts that subtly contradict your old identity and the loops you're trying to collapse. They are designed to prove to yourself that a new reality is possible. These aren't grand gestures or dramatic leaps. They are small, intentional choices that shift your attention away from the old familiar pattern, even for a moment. It could be choosing a different route, a different morning ritual, or even a different internal dialogue when faced with a familiar trigger. The power of these micro-experiments lies in their subtlety. They bypass the resistance of the old identity and the need for monumental effort. Each successful micro-experiment creates a tiny crack in the old belief system, showing you your own power. It reinforces the idea that you are not powerless, that you can, in fact, influence your reality. But these small acts are just the beginning. How do these small shifts build towards a grander transformation? Next, we reveal timeline authority, acting from the future self's observation. Instead of trying to escape the past, you must begin to operate from the authority of your future self. This means making choices, thinking thoughts, and embodying feelings as if the desired reality has already fully collapsed into form. It's an internal pre-manifestation. Your future self isn't a hypothetical ideal. It's a collapsed probability, a reality waiting for your conscious observation to activate it. To access this, you must temporarily suspend the belief in your current limitations and step into the energetic frequency of who you are becoming. This is not about faking it. It's about aligning your internal observation with the end result. What would that future self pay attention to? How would they react to this situation? How would they feel about the present moment, knowing their desired outcome is inevitable? By embodying this authority, even in small ways, you begin to draw that future timeline into the present. You are becoming the dominant observer of that new reality. But what happens once all these pieces fall into place? Finally, we address exit the loop. You weren't supposed to see this. You've navigated the layers. You've understood the mechanics of observation, the grip of identity, and the subtle art of attention withdrawal. You've begun to act from your future self. The loop, once so solid, is now a flickering illusion. Exiting the loop isn't a sudden explosion, it's a gradual dissolution. The old reality loses its energetic charge. It no longer captures your attention. The familiar patterns, once so compelling, now feel hollow, irrelevant. You simply walk away. The reason you weren't supposed to see this isn't due to some conspiracy. It's because most observers are content to remain within the comfortable confines of their self-created loops, never questioning the projector, only the movie. They never look behind the curtain, but you have. You've journeyed through the wiring of reality itself. You now hold the keys to conscious collapse and creation. The only question now is, what will you allow yourself to observe into existence? Make sure to subscribe for more videos and hit that notification bell so you never miss a new video. We'll see you in the next one.